not present. So good afternoon to this afternoon session. So our speaker today is Dr. K. Shankar. Am I audible, sir? I'm audible.
Audible, please go ahead.
Audible.
Please
Yeah.
go ahead, sir.
Okay. Our speaker for the afternoon session is Dr. K. Shankar. He's our very own alumni who finished his undergraduation from our university, and he has finished his MTech from IIT Madras and IIT Madras, and he has been now awarded the PhD degree in the area of biomedical engineering from Anna University, Chennai in 2017. So today he'll be talking about pain and its management, in which he is an expert. And his various research interests include biomedical instrumentation, objective pain measurement, human factors for engineering and automation, environmental instrumentation technology for societal issues. So I kindly request Dr. K. Shankar to start his keynote speech.
This conference, enabled Dr. K. Sridharan sir of this institution. Then it was called as Advaita Palestinian College of Engineering, and I'm very much proud and I'm very much happy to deliver keynote address in the conference organized by the parent institution. Actually, this is my parent's house. And I'm very happy to see Dr. Devara sir and Dr. V. Vasudevan sir, who were my teachers during that time. And they taught me very much. Their lessons, which they were teaching me, really helped me in pursuing my career. Thank you, sir. And before going into the topic, pain and its challenges, this is actually today's topic, which we are going to discuss. And let me start the discussion with Tirukkural. Noi nadi, noi mudal nadi, andanikum vai nadi vai pache. This is a very famous Tirukkural which explains how to treat a disease. Actually, Tiruvallur explained in such a way that, like, to treat the disease, don't go and approach the disease very directly. Instead of going directly to the disease, you go first the cause of the disease and know the cause of the disease and treat the cause of the disease. Obviously, you will be treating the disease very directly. So this is a very key fundamental point of this discussion, because pain is not a disease. So pain is not a disease. It's considered a vital sign, and it's considered as a subjective phenomenon by most of the researchers all around the world, and it can be treated with a painkillers. It's a very important thing that why we cannot treat the pain as a disease means, actually pain is not a disorder, it's not a disease, because it informs about the disease to the sufferer or to the patient or to us, very simply saying, right? So suppose if any of the tissues damaged or any of the organs gets damaged, by any of the external factors or internal factors, then we need to be informed that this part of our body has got some infections or has got damaged by some other factors. So that informer or that sign is known as the pain. So we no need to always treat the pain. We need to treat the cause of the pain, which is the disease. Okay. So this is very important thing. To treat the pain, we normally sorry for the interruption. I to prescribe excess dosage of painkillers, and these excess doses of painkillers normally leaves the side effects to the patient. So we need to go for objective pain measurement. Again, I wish to quote Tirukkural and a quote of Karl Marx. Tirukkural goes in this way like Epporul yar yar vai ketpinum apporul meipporul kanbadaribu. The explanation of this Tirukkural goes like we no need to believe everything as like what we see and what we hear, right? So we need to experiment those things before believing the things. So this is the bottom line of objective pain measurement. Karl Marx says everything must be doubted. So it's not at all necessary to believe whatever we hear and whatever we see. So we need to experiment everything. So pain management procedure and prescribing painkillers based on subjective methods are not reliable. We need to go for objective pain measurement. Next slide, please. So one of the definitions of objective pain measurement is the repetition of a unit amount that maintains its size within an allowable range of error, no matter which instrument or intended to measure the variable of interest or is used, and no matter who or what relevant person or things is measured. This is objective pain measurement. The explanation in shorter form is that the result of any measurement of a particular variable of a process should be same for any type of instrument and a person for any type of person who is using the instrument. So whatever may be the instrument to measure that particular variable, whatever the method you can use, it should be same for any type of instrument, and it should be same whoever using that instrument to measure that particular parameter, right? This is very important. So objective pain measurement is believed to give a correct level of measurement of that particular parameter, or in our case the pain, very clearly to the physician. So based on this measurement result, the doctor can prescribe the correct dosage of painkillers. Next slide, please. So there are in objective pain measurement, normally the researchers or the researchers check the pain level with the physiological parameter changes in physiological parameters. So it's a patient independent, very important. It's a patient independent. Patient cannot influence in expressing or in showing his or her pain level. So a doctor can do experiment, or doctor can do perform test on patient to know the level of the pain what the patient feels, right? So for that purpose, as I said in earlier slides, previous slides, any type of physiological parameters can be taken, but there are certain parameters which can reflect the pain level very clearly and very efficiently. So there are researchers, they have taken EEG as one of the physiological parameters to get information for about the pain, and electrodermal activities with the fMRI was taken as one of the important tools, and EMG, with the EMG they have taken the things, and brain imaging techniques. Many researchers are doing on that, but it's a a little bit costlier one, brain imaging, because we know, we understand the affordability of normal human being in our area to take CT imaging or PET imaging or any other thing. So it's this brain imaging technique with pain research can be taken for the research area, and to understand the pain physiology we can do that. But the ultimate aim of pain research in pain management side is that to develop a tool to measure the pain at affordable cost. It's very important. So we can go for other methods also, like by using heart rate. Normally all the doctors are checking the heart rate whenever we are visiting them, and blood pressure is a very important tool, and we can develop as an instrumentation engineer, we can develop some sensors, some transducers to check the physiological parameters, which can deliberately gives information about the pain, right? So GSR is very important tool. Galvanic skin response means nothing but the skin resistance. So skin resistance can be correlated with the pain signal. Whenever you feel the pain, there will be changes in resistance in your skin. This is because of your sweating. So sweat glands will be activated. So when you feel sweating, your skin resistance will be going down, and more current will be passing through the skin. If you measure the skin, or if you measure the voltage between two particular points in your skin, it will reflect the it will reflect the amount of pain what you felt, right? It's very important tool, and it shows very good reflections of pain. Next slide, please. So normally researchers do the pain researchers with a different type of pain called nociceptive and neuropathic pain. And to do the research, patients will not allow normally to do research on them, and or the attendants of patients or the relatives of the patients will not allow. If we are the patient, our relatives will not allow anybody to do experiment on us, right? So to do research in pain means to measure pain, we need to create pain. It's a very strange thing that we need to create pain, but no way, unless we create pain, we cannot check the correlation between the physiological parameters and the pain. Okay, so to do pain measurement research, we need to create pain on normal patient, and to create the pain, we need to create we need to develop the pain inducer, right? So, but in one way we can do experiment on pain by doing the collaborative research. So always it's emphasized in all fields of research to go for the collaborative or interdisciplinary research. So being the engineers, we need to collaborate with the medical community or medical professionals to do this type of research. So if you collaborate with the medical researchers or medical professionals, it's very easy for us to go into the hospital and do the experiments with the patient, and it requires a lot of ethical clearance and ethical guidelines and everything. So we need to get clearance from the institutional ethical committee of that particular organization, and we should make clear every point whatever being raised about our research and everything, right? So interdisciplinary research normally do allow us to do experiment on patient. Next slide, please. So to induce pain, we need to create the pain inducers. Induced pain will make changes in physiological parameters, and these induced pain may be of thermal and mechanical pain. Thermal pain is nothing but generating heat energy or applying heat energy on our human body, and while we apply the heat energy on our human body, there will be changes. It creates pain actually. So it's like touching the flame in a candle, or touching the flame in our gas stove, or whatever it may be, which creates a heat energy, right? So touching the flame, or placing our hand on the ice cubes will create definitely the pain. So we can create thermal pain by using the thermal pain inducer, and mechanical pain inducer are nothing but applying some amount of force on a particular area of our human body will damage the tissues on that particular portion, and it will create pain. So to do the research, we need to develop the thermal or mechanical pain inducers. These pain inducers will create pain, and this created pain will make changes in physiological parameters. If we measure these changes in physiological parameters, then we can easily say how much amount of pain is being felt by the patient, right? So this is actually my own research area, and I conducted many experiments on pain research, and the stages of experiment in my research was like a pre-pain stage, pain stage, and post-pain stage. Next slide, please. So there are pain inducers, as I said in earlier slide, mechanical pain inducers. In this discussion, we call it as the MPI, and thermal pain inducers, TPI. As I said in earlier slide, we can create pain by asking the patient to touch the hot or cold object, or hot or cold water. Then that patient will start feeling the pain, right? Thermal pain. And we can use other methods also, by radiant heat method, by laser, and those type of methods are very expensive, and it requires skilled labor to operate this type of pain inducers. So normally what we do, we are going for the hot plate method, hot plate or cold plate method. Next slide, please. This is one type of mechanical pain inducer. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. So this is one type of mechanical pain inducer which was created in my laboratory for my research purpose. It looks like a Tower of Hanoi, and there is a rod, center rod, and a fixed iron disc, and bottom of the fixed iron disc there is a metal cube of 1 centimeter cross 1 centimeter. Okay, so above that fixed iron disc, through that center rod, you can add weights. So this iron disc, this metal cube will be placed. Can you please go to next slide? Yeah. Now in this slide, you can see on the left portion, there is a palm, you can see, and in the palm, in the middle finger, that metal cube is placed, and this metal cube is supported by that iron disc. Over the iron disc, you can add the weights, as you see in the right side of the slide. Right, there are 5 or 6 iron discs which are inserted into the iron rod, and which will increase the force on your middle finger, right? So this will cause the pain in your middle finger. This pain will make changes in your physiological parameters, any type of physiological parameters, right? But as we all think, these changes will not be in a very huge manner. There will be very little change. Being an electronics engineer or instrumentation engineer, our duty is that to capture the change and to magnify those changes and correlate with the pain input, right? This is our challenge. Okay. Next slide, please. And this is one type of thermal pain inducer. This is nichrome coil based. You are seeing the PT100 sensor there, and there is a heating source. This heating source is actually made up of, inside that box, that thermal insulator box, there is a plate. Over the plate, there is a coil, nichrome coil. This nichrome coil is fed up, is supplied with a current or power, whatever you can say. So based on the current input to the nichrome coil, the temperature will be generated, or heat energy will be generated. This heat energy will be radiated to the hot plate, which is placed inside that thermal insulator box. So in that hot plate, patient will be asked, or the subject will be asked to place his hand, right? So by placing the hand in the hot plate, he or she will start feeling the heat energy, and over a period of time, he will start feeling the pain, right? So you can, and the advantage of this thermal pain inducer that you can change the amount of heat energy which you want to generate by changing the amount of current which is being supplied to the nichrome coil. Okay, this is one type of thermal pain inducer. These are all not of automated one. In the present pain research badly needs the automated pain inducer, and those type of pain inducers are also available in market but of higher cost, right? Next slide please. And this is another type of pain inducer, thermal pain inducer, which is Peltier based. So Peltier effect is actually the reverse effect of Seebeck effect, right? Seebeck effect is used in constructing the thermocouples. Thermocouple is works on the principle of Seebeck effect, means two dissimilar metals kept at two different temperature will create EMF. So the Ulta effect is called Peltier effect. Excuse me. If you generate, if you apply some amount of EMF to two dissimilar metals, then two different type of temperature you can feel at two different points. This is called Peltier. The device which works on the Peltier principle is called Peltier device, right? So in Peltier device, one part, you can see in the slide that one is hot, another one is cold. So this is the same device, and topmost part will give you the hot temperature, and the bottom part will give you the cold temperature based on the EMF which is being applied to the device, right? So if you want the cold temperature, and if you want to use this cold temperature to create pain on your patient or subject, you can ask the patient to touch the respective part of the Peltier device to get the pain, right? This is one type of thermal pain inducer. Again, this is not the automated one. Next slide, please. This is the thermal pain inducer available in market, TSA2. The minimum price of this thermal pain inducer, it's an automated one. The minimum price of this thermal pain inducer is going in the range of 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs, and there are many versions of this thermal pain inducer. Based on the requirement of for our research, we can go for this pain inducer. I want to convey this message to the researchers, those who are scholars, those who are attending this lecture. It's a very promising area to develop pain inducers for pain research at affordable cost. It's very much needed in if any of you are ready to develop this type of thermal pain inducers, then I am ready to purchase this type of pain inducers, which is being developed, which is going to be developed by you guys for my research purpose. So I welcome everyone to go into this area of pain research and make thermal pain inducer at affordable cost, and make it as available to everyone those who are doing the pain research. Next slide, please. So again, the same kind of Tirukural which I recited in my previous slide, Epporul Ethanmai Thayinum, Apporul Meipporul Kanbadirivu. So whatever it may be, we need to know the truthness, we need to understand, and we need to know the truthness in it. So this is the bottom line of objective pain measurement. Next slide, please. So we have conducted three type of experiment in different stages. One is MPDCP, means mechanical pain versus dermal and cardiac parameters. Dermal parameters are nothing but skin parameters. As I said earlier, GSR is one of the skin parameter or dermal parameters. And in cardiac parameters, we can have our heart rate, blood pressure, ECG. ECG in its kind, you can take the amplitude or the frequency for your experimental purpose. And second experiment is with thermal pain inducer with temperature and heart rate. Thermal pain, you are going to induce a thermal pain. For induced thermal pain, you are going to check the temperature of human body and heart rate of human body. So it's called TPTHR experiment. And the next experiment is with mechanical pain inducer versus the Vata nadi and cardiac parameters. Actually, in our traditional medicinal system, Tamil traditional medicinal system, all the Vaidyas or all the doctors, those who believe the traditional medical system, relies on the nadis of our human body, the Vata nadi, Pitta nadi, and the Kapha nadi, right? So Vata nadi gives much information about the pain always. So we generated the pain, mechanical pain on the subject, and we checked the Vata nadi, the amplitude of Vata nadi, and also the cardiac parameters, few cardiac parameters like blood pressure, heart rate, and ECG, right? So these experiments we have done in our laboratory. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. And as I said, there are 3 stages of pain, and each stage of experiment was conducted for 5 minutes with 2 minutes delay between the stages, right? So between pre-pain and pain stage, there was 2 minutes delay, and between pain and post-pain, there was 2 minute delay. And the pre-pain stage is nothing but no pain condition, measure the physiological parameters, whatever you want to analyze. And pain stage, so after getting the parameters in pre-pain stage, leave the subject for 2 minutes for relaxation and apply pain, whatever the pain, whether the mechanical pain or thermal pain you apply on subject, and acquire the physiological parameters what you acquired in the pre-pain stage, right? The same physiological parameters you occur in pain stage also, and for analysis, and leave for 2 minutes, and again without pain, you analyze, you acquire the physiological parameters and make it ready for the analysis. These are the stages of experiments. Next slide, please. So we got a few good and promising results for objective pain measurement thing. So this slide shows the relationship between the pain and GSR. GSR is nothing but the galvanic skin response. There are 3 bars in your slides. In your slide, one is the blue color shows the pre-pain GSR level, and the maroon color slide shows that bar shows the during pain condition, and white color post pain condition. You see, during the pain condition, the GSR level goes low, goes down. Means here we are measuring the GSR in terms of resistance. So resistance goes down, means that your pain is being reflected in GSR very well. Okay, but unlike the during pain, these 2 stages, pre-pain and post-pain stages, GSR level in terms of resistance, skin resistance, is higher than the during pain level, right? So it's a very good result that there is a reflection in GSR, there is a reflection of pain in GSR, galvanic skin response. So if we measure the skin resistance when the patient feels pain, you can very easily say how much amount of pain the patient feels, right? This is one type of experiment. Next one, please. Yeah. This slide shows the correlation between pain and ECG. And here we take frequency as a parameter for from the ECG signal. And the frequency, whenever you feel the pain, the ECG signal frequency will go up. So during pain condition, the frequency will be more, and pre-pain and post-pain condition, the frequency will be very less. So it also gives good reflection about your pain. Next slide, please. Yeah. So it's about pain and BP. BP means blood pressure analysis. When you apply the mechanical pain, what will be the changes in your blood pressure? So blood pressure is of 2 types. One is systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. And in these 2 type of pressures in each stages, one is pre-pain, 2 is during pain, and 3 is post-pain stage. In post-pain stage, obviously the blood pressure level goes up. So whenever you feel the pain, it's very obvious that we all know whenever we feel pain, whenever we feel some discomfort in our body, our blood pressure will obviously go up. But the matter is that how much the blood pressure is rising, right? It's a very important thing. That's what the engineer needs to do to capture or to acquire the changes in physiological parameters. So this experiment have also shown us a good sign that BP could also be used for pain measurement. Next slide, please. And this is about our traditional medical system, mechanical pain inducer versus the Vata Nadi and cardiac parameters. This is the experimental setup what we have done, and you can see the pressure sensor there. And we perform this experiment with the help of virtual instrumentation, means NI, National Instruments LVs, and DACOD 9205 we have used. And on the right side, you can see the mechanical pain inducer, which was explained in previous slide. And we measure the blood pressure for our purpose, right? So in the placement of pressure sensor for female, we use the left hand, and for male, we use the right hand, based on the previous literatures reported in journals, right? Next slide, please. Okay, so what are the challenges and what are the possibilities? We need to do the experiment with a subject by creating the pain or by generating the pain on them, so that only we can look into the changes or the how the physiological parameters are changed due to the pain which is felt by the patient, right? But here the thing is that, as I said earlier, there are no less cost, low cost, programmed and automated pain inducer. So as I said, the pain inducer which are available in the market cost more than a lakh or more than a few lakh, right? So it's very important to develop such type of pain inducers. And I request and I pose this requirement to the research community, those who are attending this conference, to go into this type of research areas also. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So as we all know, no doctors or no traditional medical practitioners check the nadis of our human body, means Vata Nadi, Pitta Nadi, Kapha Nadi. In normal Siddha doctors, whoever you are visiting in your area, they will also not measuring these type of nadis, right? So it's becoming an obsolete one. This practice is becoming obsolete one to measure the nadis in our human body. So if you could develop some device or instrument to measure this Vata and Pitta and Kapha Nadi in your slide, the left portion KPV are nothing but Kapha, Pitta and Vata Nadi. So by using some type of sensors, and if you could develop some instrument to measure this Vata and Pitta and Kapha Nadi, and it will be more helpful for the pain researchers to correlate the Vata Nadi with the pain, right? So if you measure the Vata Nadi, changes in Vata Nadi, you can say the amount of pain what the patient feels, and based on which the doctors can prescribe the right dosage of painkillers, so that we can hugely reduce the side effects of the painkillers, right? Okay. Next slide, please. Right. So virtual reality and haptics is another one important area which is significantly proposed for pain management purposes, right? I would like to thank my PG supervisor, MTech supervisor, Dr. M. Manivannan, professor of biomedical engineering group, applied mechanics department in IIT Madras, and he develops, and he is going into the research area of virtual reality and pain management, and he is a master in haptics. Haptics is nothing but the touch, right? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So touch. So he is experimenting. He is experimenting with sense of touch, right? So and it's a virtual real. It's a part of virtual reality. He develops many robots, many small type of robots to for teaching purpose to enable the nursing trainers to check with how to inject the patients. So to use how to use the syringe and needle with the patient, right? So for this purpose, he is developing many kind of things. And virtual reality is nothing but a simulation of environment. It's a feedback based, right? So feedback may be audio, visual, and haptic, yeah, from the multiple directions. And computer and computer-aided technology is a very fundamental tool which could be used for virtual reality. And you can develop games, video games, and which could be used for pain management purpose. And you can adopt this type of technique to the patients, those who are feeling acute or chronic type, any type of pain. And how you can do experiments, or you can do research how this deviation of deviation of attention from the pain location to other part will alleviate the pain into it, right? It's very important part. And you can do experiment on virtual reality also. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So in his lab, actually, it's a spin off his lab, Merkel Haptics. You can see that web link at the bottom of the slide. You can go and view or visualize many type of virtual reality haptics technologies he has developed from his company. And these type of virtual reality devices could be used to manage the pain to the larger extent. Okay, so I think this is the last slide. In the nutshell, I can conclude the thing is that like uh, um, pain is an important parameter or important phenomena which could reflect your body condition, right? So pain is not a disease, it's very important, and it's an informer, or it's a vital sign of your human body which will inform you about your body condition, right? So pain is no longer needed to be treated, but the cause of the pain is needed to be treated, right? This is a very important challenge. But nowadays what we are doing, we are always treating the pain, we are always taking the painkillers always give you the side effect, right? So these side effects are worse than anything else, and you need to treat these side effects on later stage, right? So it's a very important thing. So before going for the pain management, you need to measure it. Pain measurement is a very important thing. There we have two part, one is subjective and objective part. Subjective part is not reliable, and objective, so that we need to go for the objective part. So objective part, the correlation of pain and the physiology changes in physiological parameters are observed. It's very important thing. This is very promising research area in biomedical domain also. So I invite and I request the researchers, scholars, and the aspirants in biomedical domain to do experiments, to do research in pain measurement, and give your best to the society for the minimum usage of painkillers or the no usage of painkillers. It's very important. This if you do these things, it will be a gift to the society and the medical community. So I conclude my lecture here, and I thank you very much. The session is open for questions.
Thank you, Dr. Shankar.
Next slide, please.
Thank you, Dr. Shankar. So now the session is open for questions. If anyone has any questions, you can post them or you can ask them.
Yeah. Anyway, you can ask the question, or you can type your question in chat box.
You can post it. Sir, so if anyone has I would just like to. I had one small question to ask you.
Please, sir. Please
So
go
among
ahead.
the pain experiments you conducted, you didn't mention anything about the age of the patients. It does play a role on your experiments, or is there
Yes, sir.
anything
Yes,
fixed?
sir.
The age?
In my experiment, I conducted these experiments with adult, means the age between 18 to 35.
Okay.
But pain differs age by
Yeah.
age. There is a role, very important role of age, very important role of geographical location, very important role of gender also. Normally,
Okay.
female tolerates much pain than the males.
Oh,
So this is a very important case. It's a very good question that I use the subject between the age 18 and 35 of both the gender, male and female.
okay. Okay, sir. Fine. Okay. So if others don't have any questions, they can always contact you. We have shared your contact details with them, sir. So if
Yeah,
anybody's
sure.
interested, they'll surely able to contact you. So
Yeah.
so if there are no other questions, I'd like to thank Dr. Shankar for this very enlightening topic on giving us an insight into what pain and its evaluation is. I hope the research scholars and the faculty also get benefited by it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shankar, and thank you, participants, for joining with us for this keynote session.
Thank you,
Next,
sir.
we'll move on to the. Thank you, Shankar. Be in touch with our scholars. Good
Sure,
number
sir.
of
Sure,
people
sir.
they are working on biomedical engineering. Maybe in
Yes,
future
sir.
they will.
Sure, sir. Sir,